Through the first century of comic book history, we have seen the birth and growth of some truly iconic characters. Superman, Captain Marvel, Batman, the Spectre, Dr. Occult, Dr. Fate. You don't know Dr. Occult?
Of course I know Dr. Occult. But you went from Superman to Dr. Occult.
Dr. Occult was also created by
I know, but you went from the biggest superhero in the history of superheroes to obscure Dr. Occult. I'm wondering what you're going to say next.
No, Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Captain America.
Okay.
We could sit here all day and list
Which
them.
Captain Marvel? Because you weren't specific.
Well, the first.
Oh, okay.
And then,
Now, who is Shazam? Captain Marvel.
Yeah, now is called Shazam.
Who has completely grown and changed.
Will only ever be Captain Marvel to me.
Okay, very good.
Even though I've never read the 1940s.
It's funny how if he has comics now, Captain Marvel, and they don't call him Captain Marvel, but they call him Captain sometimes. And they won't go.
They refer to him as Captain.
Okay.
Sometimes call him Captain of the Thunder.
That's actually a good story for at some point too.
Oh yeah,
the story of Captain Marvel
yes.
and what happened with the licensing and stuff.
Now, along with these iconic and really well-known characters, we've also received some not so well-remembered characters.
See Brother Power the Geek episode.
Look back at our full episode on
the link right there.
Brother
Check
Power the Geek,
out.
the ghost who's haunting DC Comics.
It was a good one.
And now we're bringing to you today a list of 5 forgotten heroes, all from Marvel and DC.
The big 2 companies.
The big 2.
Okay.
The big 2.
So you have 5 characters.
5 characters, all from Marvel and DC, who are
forgotten.
Pretty much forgotten at this point.
Okay. This should be interesting.
Let's get into it. Okay, first up from DC Comics, we have Kole. Kole was Kole Weathers. She was created by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. She premiered in the New Teen Titans Volume 2, number 9, in June of 1985. She was a superpowered hero who gained powers because her father did experiments on her and altered her genetics. He thought he was going to create somebody who could withstand the terrible fallout of a nuclear war. But what he did create was Kole. She had the power to manipulate crystals, create crystals, and fly. It's never really made very clear whether her flying power had anything to do with her crystal power. She just happened to be able to fly along with creating crystals and stuff. She was killed during the Crisis on Infinite Earths, trying to save Earth 2's Robin and Earth 2's Huntress. She has since been brought back as a ghost by Brother Blood in one storyline and Kid Eternity in another storyline, but she's never really returned to life in any mainstream DC continuity.
So she wasn't around that long because of June 1985. Crisis is what, 87?
86.
Yeah, so she
was around about a year before they killed her.
I do not know the character.
Yep, she's in the New Teen Titans.
Okay.
That's from DC. Up next, we have from Marvel Comics, Thunderstrike. Now, Thunderstrike, whose real name was Eric Masterson, is kind of an alternate version of Thor.
I know Thunderstrike.
He replaced Thor briefly as the God of Thunder, and then got his own title. Thunderstrike was created by Tom DeFalco and Ron Frenz, and he premiered in Thor number 391 in May of 1988. And he got his solo title in August of 1993. His entire appearance looked to be sort of like Marvel's attempt to imagize Thor. Yeah. He had a mace instead of a hammer. He had like a long ponytail with no helmet and a beard and a
scraggly looking beard.
Yeah, a vest instead of So he was kind of one of these attempts from one of the big 2s to try to keep up with the extreme look of image characters at the time.
I actually bought number 1 recently.
Did you? You got Thunderstrike number 1?
In a dollar bin, they had Thunderstrike number 1. I picked it up.
Thunderstrike was killed fighting a duplicate of Scourge combined with a character called Bloodaxe. And he has remained dead since then. There was another character called Thunderstrike who showed up, but it was actually the son of the original Thunderstrike. I believe he showed up in the Fear Itself storyline at one point. But that character also has not been seen since.
The Thunderstrike was really just a replacement for Thor. So once Thor became popular again, there's no need for
he was kind of gone, right?
No need for him to return.
Right. Our third character from DC, Triumph. Triumph's name was William McIntyre. He was created by Mark Waid and Brian Augustin and Howard Porter. He first appeared in JLA number 91 in August of 1994. If we have an image of Triumph right here, you could see he's also another attempt from DC to kind of jump on the image train.
Who did he look like?
He's got like these wide
I don't know the
gold armor things and he has one of those like image partial helmets that kind of go, you know what I mean? Right. It turns out that Triumph was actually the original leader of the Justice League of America and one of the founding members. The problem was, on his very first mission, he was thrown through an alternate dimension which erased him from the timeline and everybody's memory except for him. So he remembers founding the Justice League. He remembers being the leader of it at one time, but nobody else does.
Sounds like crap.
Yeah. The character was pretty much hated by fans, and leaning into that, editor Christopher Priest had the character hated by
Mark Waid
the other characters.
Mark Waid is a fantastic writer.
Very good writer. This was a misstep.
Because he's one of my favorites, and he wrote The Flash for a long time. This does not sound like his normal stuff. Okay.
By the time Grant Morrison took over as writer of the JLA in the late 90s, Triumph was kind of living by selling off Justice League weapons to villains. And then in one of the adventures, he got frozen, and they kept him frozen in the Justice League Watchtower, and then he was killed when Prometheus blew up the Watchtower, and they forgot to take Triumph out of there.
So the founding member of the Justice League was murdered
by Prometheus.
Basically by the Justice League.
Yeah, by them forgetting about it.
Sounds like a fun character.
Yeah.
Never heard of him before.
At number 4, we have a truly special character. The NFL SuperPro.
Yeah.
From Marvel. His real name was Phil Grayfield. He was created by Fabian Nceza and Jose Delbo. He premiered in NFL SuperPro Special Number 1 with Spider-Man in March of 1991. Phil Grayfield was a former NFL player who hurt his knee rescuing a kid from some kind of thing. I forget what it was.
From a linebacker.
Oh, he got hurt in the game? No, he was like rescuing a kid in a car accident.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hurt his knee, ended his football career. He became a color commentator for NFL games.
I just know it's awful.
Where he met a fan of his who happened to also be an eccentric scientist who created an indestructible football suit. While he's talking to this fan at his house, there's a home invasion. The fan scientist gets shot and killed. And Grayfield puts on the armor, gaining powers, and becomes the superhero SuperPro. It actually ran for 12 issues.
I know. I can't...
Plus a special.
I can imagine that he probably appeared at NFL games, too. That there was probably a guy dressed up as him somewhere.
Now, this series has become a cult hit because apparently it is one of the worst comic books of all time from a major company.
You should have dressed up as that for Comic-Con.
Right?
You should cosplay as NFL SuperPro.
Right?
I've never seen one before. You'd be the first one to do it.
In fact, Fabian Nceza, co-creator of Deadpool, says that he basically just worked on the character so that he could get free football tickets.
Oh, that's genius on his part. If he's a football fan and he's working in comics and that's why he did it, he's a genius.
Right.
And the character hasn't appeared anywhere else since then, right?
No.
Has never appeared again. It's not mentioned
only
in
his
anything.
own title, and then he was never seen
And
again.
as you see in his own title, he crossed over, so he was part of the Marvel
universe. He was in Earth 616, yes.
And he hasn't had a date. You know how they ended it?
No, I don't. Did you read it?
No, I only bought number 1.
Oh, you got to now. You have to buy the rest of it and figure out what happened to him.
We'll look for them.
I think the series was basically just canceled, and then they pretended he never existed.
The cover's by Romita too. It's a Romita cover.
John Romita.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Wow. All right, that's a good one.
So, if you're looking for something truly unusual,
I'm telling you, if you want cosplay, we've been to many shows over the last years.
I've never seen
an NFL SuperPro. Cosplay is that. Send us a picture. That's a great one. If you've ever read this, comment what you think about it. We want to know how he ends, what happens at the end of 12.
Yeah. Finally, on our list, number 5, Gunfire, character in DC Comics. His real name was Andrew Van Horn. He was created by Len Wein. Len Wein.
Len Wein.
And Steve Irwin. Not that Steve Irwin, a different one.
Not that one.
Right.
But Len Wein, who's a comic book legend.
Yeah, absolutely. He premiered in Deathstroke Annual number 2 in October of 1993. He was part of something called the Blood Pack.
Okay.
Again, an attempt at DC to jump on some of that Image stuff.
I see that.
Right?
It sounds like an Image name, too.
Right. He acquired his powers from being attacked by the alien Venev during the Bloodlines crossover. And he was also a member of a team at that time called the New Bloods. So
it's funny now that DC actually owns a lot of those teams now anyway.
Yeah, they own the whole Wildstorm group.
So it's funny that's, this is basically what they're doing here.
Gunfire didn't fare very well in the DC universe. He had a couple of adventures, had a quick solo title. Eventually...
Ever had a solo title?
Yeah. Eventually, in a fight, he lost his hands to Prometheus.
Oh, Prometheus again.
Prometheus is
he trims the bad heroes in the DC universe, apparently.
In Infinite Crisis, he was found in a limbo zone by Superman.
Okay.
And Superman rescued him from the limbo zone, and then he participated in the final battle during Infinite Crisis, Gunfire. And at last, he was killed at the Sanctuary during the storyline Heroes in Crisis.
Okay.
Where he went to get some therapy to overcome the vigilante activities he had undertaken in the 90s.
So not all characters are good.
No. So for every single iconic character out there that we have, we also probably have, I'd say, between 10 and 20 completely forgettable characters.
And these are completely forgettable characters.
But as we've seen in the movies, especially via James Gunn, we could see any one of these characters show up.
You never know.
In a mainstream film.
The NFL SuperPro.
And we don't know where. We don't know where it'll take us.
Oh, boy. All right. Maybe Brian will make this an ongoing thing, and he'll pick 5 different ones every couple of months, and we'll talk about them. This is something very interesting. A lot of the characters I don't know, and I read comics constantly. I've never heard Gunfire before. I read NFL SuperPro. The Thunderstrike I know. Mm-hmm. The other ones never heard of them. Yeah. Kole, never heard of that one.
Kole, yeah, and she's Teen Titans. I thought you would know.
Never heard of that character before. It doesn't sound like she was in many issues, so she was here and gone. Mm-hmm. And my memory's not what it used to. Listen, if you like these characters, you've heard of them, comment below. Tell us what you think. Yeah. And if you want to support this channel even more,
become a member on YouTube. Members get a lot of benefits that others don't have.
Every dollar you put in helps us make better videos like this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, if there's any other lists of characters you'd like to see us do, let us know. Comment, email us at collectorsconfessions@gmail.com.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Love what you collect.
Collect what you love.
See you next time.
See you later.